The death of a loved one is one of the most painful and universal of human experiences. And those of us that are left behind have to wrap up their final affairs. There's just 5 big things that I would want everybody to keep in mind when they are facing this situation. And the first of which is that you need to allow yourself to experience grief. We've lost a loved one, and it's a painful experience. So it's very important that you allow yourself to go through the grieving process and to be gentle on yourself and to have some understanding for those around you. People experience grief in many different ways. While you're going through the grieving process, it's very important that you make funeral arrangements or a final disposition of the deceased's body and to obtain a death certificate from the Department of Health. The third thing is to gather all the important papers that your deceased loved one has left behind. Particular importance is going to be the receipt for the funeral expenses, finding any estate planning documents that your loved one might have left behind, a will, trusts, any other instructions of that variety. And then it's also important to track down any car titles, credit card bills, bank statements, everything that has to do with your deceased loved one's financial life. My fourth takeaway is that you really need to consider at that point speaking with an attorney. And we have many options of disposing of a deceased person's estate in Washington. If you're not sure exactly what to do, it's just important to get some guidance. Which leads to the fifth part is after you've grieved, after you've had your funeral and obtained the death certificate and grabbed the important papers and contacted counsel, it's important that you administer the estate. If you have a loved one who didn't own real property, whose net value of their estate is less than $100,000, it is possible that you can administer their estate through a small estate affidavit. Essentially, you make sure that every creditor has been satisfied, all the beneficiaries have been contacted, and you can administer the estate through that process. The other way you can administer estate is through a probate, which is when you have a will from your deceased loved one and it spells out how they would like to dispose of their property. And if your loved one passed away without a will, it's quite all right. That process is called an intestacy proceeding. It's essentially like a will, same process as a probate, except that there's a baseline rules in the statute as to who can inherit what. The court will have to approve the actions in most circumstances of the personal representative appointed in an intestate estate. Make sure that you know what your options are if you need a full court proceeding to administer the estate, or if you can use some of our other options available to us in Washington law. Feel free to call our office. We have our team of estate administrators who would gladly be willing to talk with you and walk you through these steps.